Get you updated on our grain trade, shall we? Our quotes are provided by Bar Chart. I'm Marlin Bohling. Okay, we'll start with this corn market today. You know, we had sold off early in the trading session, and we're kind of easing a little bit higher off of the lows anyway. We have the December corn now trading at $6.94. That would be down just 2 cents on the day. We had been as low as $6.8925 overnight. Soybean trade kind of sleepy right now. We've been on both sides of unchanged. Currently, November is at $14.90.5, and that is a mere now 1 3/4 cents higher on the day. So it did have some pretty strong gains overnight, and that's pretty much gone. On the wheat in Chicago, December 12 3/4 higher at 871.5, so it's coming back here today. On the Kansas City market, you have December now 15.25 higher. I'm sorry, at 942.25. And that would be within about 3 cents of our high of the day there. Minneapolis spring wheat, December currently 8.25 higher at 934 3/4. And well, that would put us within 4 cents of our high of the overnight and early morning trade now. In the cotton market, boy, it really got hammered. Got as high as 105.95 overnight and then sold off this morning. And when the CPI numbers came out, it seemed like it did not help cotton at all. Right now, we're at 102.75. That would be down 296 points on the day. We talked about the dollar value after the CPI numbers were released. By the way, they showed 8.3% inflation compared to a year ago. Dollar index right now, September futures, 994 points higher. We'll call it 1,000 points higher at 109.310. So a lot of pressure there. The equity market sold off after the report came out in September. Dow Jones Industrial Futures down 750 points at 31,636. So they did not take that report very well. We're joined by Ben Hushon of the mill in Whitehall, Maryland. And we'll find out what's going on in that part of the country on the mid-Atlantic coast. All right, Ben, thanks for joining us here today. What are farmers up to this week?
Good morning, Marlin. Well, if you remember, last week we had about 2 inches of rain when I came on to talk to you Tuesday morning. This morning, I'm here to report another inch and a half. So to answer your first questions, farmers aren't physically doing a whole lot, but boy, mentally they are pacing and seeing corn dry down, even in the rain. And as mentioned before we went on the air, some of the very large producers that have a lot of corn to go, they got started, got gone, and kind of reported in some reasonable moisture levels, and that just adds to the anxiousness and the pacing that the farmers have. They're ready to go. They've waited since April and May for this corn harvest and bean harvest to begin.
Ben, for the benefit of our audience all around North America here, can you explain the cropping patterns in your local area there? Do you have much wheat in that area there?
We do. Wheat makes up probably 15% of the acres. Some parts of our area, 20% of the acres, which is pretty significant. So, you know, it's interesting you brought that up because you know the cycle. They ideally in our area, the 10th of October, 5th, 10th, somewhere in there, you want to get your wheat in the ground, want to get it started in the ground and finish up by 3rd, 4th week of October. So that's all part of why they're anxious and why they're pacing. And you think, well, golly, you know, it's only, September, not even the middle of September yet, but it is such a long, drawn-out process, especially when yields are good, and they certainly should be good in our community. It's quite a process to get some of the corn off at 10, 15% of their corn crops so they can get their wheat planted on time.
Well, good information. I appreciate you sharing that with us, and best of luck to everybody in that area there as they get into harvest here very shortly, if they're not already. That's Ben Hushon with the mill in Whitehall, Maryland, with a report for this week. We'll talk with Ben next week at this time. We'll come back in a moment. I'll get you updated on our livestock trade right after this.